So Young Thug had a problem. His group YSL just got hit with a RICO charge. What's a RICO charge? Great question. So basically, courts use this thing called RICO to bring a whole organization in for a crime. Courts kind of decided criminals could be treated like employees. If an employee does something, he was probably told by his boss to do so. Shouldn't his boss be liable? They decided yes. In Young Thug's case, he's considered the boss and everybody else in YSL are like his employees. Now, as you can imagine, they really want Young Thug. Everyone else, eh. So what do? They call everyone in and say, hey, you give us Young Thug and we don't give you 50 years. Everyone else says 50, what? He did this, he did that, he did this. And that's where our boy Gunna comes in. People take things called plea deals. Remember, the whole point of court is to convince jury people that this person did something or didn't. So they bring Gunna in and say, you didn't do that much. Gunna's like, I didn't. They're like, so all you gotta do is tell us if YSL, this is important, if it's a gang or not. Don't tell us if Young Thug is a super bad criminal. Just tell us if it's a gang or not, and you're basically free to go. That sounds insane, right? But see, the thing is, this whole thing is a chess match. Before they can capture the king, which is Young Thug, they need to take down all the other pieces. So by Gunna and a bunch of other YSL members coming out and saying YSL is a gang, the jury's thinking, oh, if their own members are saying it's a gang and they're dangerous, then they're probably a gang and they're probably dangerous. So out of 28 people, a bunch of them took plea deals, a bunch of them got moved here, moved there, and all in all, 6 people, including Young Thug, were left. But a couple were already going to jail for life for past stuff, so they didn't care about a plea deal or not. Now, here's where the story starts to get wicked. This whole thing started because of a rap beef, but not quite. See, the thing you don't know about Young Thug is he's from one of the roughest neighborhoods in America. Another person from that neighborhood is named YFN Lucci. Now, you would think they'd be friends because they're both from the same neighborhood and they both came up around the same time. Nah, because when you're from a rough neighborhood, people get, and one of those people to get was someone very close to YFN Lucci named Big Nut. Rumor has it that YSL, Young Thug's group, was responsible. So a huge war breaks out in Atlanta, YFN Lucci's group and Young Thug's group. So many people's houses got lit up that federal agents had no choice but to take action. So not many people know this, but before Young Thug's group got taken down, they went after YFN Lucci's group first, and they took him down. In fact, YFN Lucci is currently serving 10 years in prison. So the courts liked their odds with Young Thug. They just needed a spark, and that spark came with a man named Woody. See, Woody was a part of YSL. He got caught with in his car, and they said, hey, you're going to jail for a while. Woody said, how long's a while? He said, never mind, I'm snitching. They said, oh, that was easy. What you got? He said, oh, that man started singing like a bird. So the story goes, a couple YFN members robbed Woody. Woody got mad and Big Nut. Young Thug brought him the car to do that, and boom, it's the perfect spark. Young Thug's lawyer said, cap. Or he probably said baloney. Young Thug and YSL are just a music group. Just because someone from YSL does something bad doesn't mean the whole group is involved. Prosecutors go, no, like Gunna said, they're a gang. Now, this seems pretty cut and dry. They both had their arguments. But see, the case then started to drag out for so long that everyone started to lose it. I mean, lose it. That being said, grab some water because it's time for our story break with today's sponsor, NordVPN. So whether you're browsing social media, checking your bank accounts, cyber criminals are always lurking. And that's where NordVPN comes in. It basically keeps your info safe while you're online, giving you peace of mind. That kind of rhyme. That did too. Let's get serious though. In all honesty, I haven't used a VPN that much until relatively recently. I figured my browser protected me enough until I got this casual pop-up on my browser saying that my passwords had been leaked. So I got NordVPN for some peace of mind, but just set it in the back and didn't really use it. Come to find out, NordVPN does much more than online security, so I started playing with it. And by far my favorite feature has to be it allows you to hop into other servers around the globe. Meaning if you have a favorite show, but it only appears in a certain country, you pop on NordVPN, access the server in that country, you're watching the show. It also keeps your internet speed working quickly, which I found out from personal experience, not all VPNs do that. And right now, if you use my link, you'll get a huge discount on a 2-year deal plus an additional 4 months. On top of that, Nord will give you a voucher for something called Xevi, a worldwide eSIM data service. You get 20 gigs. An eSIM is basically a SIM card. A SIM card is basically what lets your phones communicate. But this SIM card being digital allows you to travel, use it without having to call your carrier and go through all that stuff. So if you want to browse the web with confidence, again, go to nordvpn.com/XEVI or click the link in the description to get the best deal. And if you happen to change your mind, NordVPN offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now back to our story. It took them 8 months to select a jury, and just for reference, long trials last like 8 months. They had about 700 witnesses ready to testify. They started going through the witnesses and started realizing, oh, this is not going to finish until 2027, because with each witness comes a list of other problems. One witness said, I'm high as hell. I don't know anything. Oh, you don't believe me?
I'm so high right now, y'all. I'm about to go to sleep on y'all now.
He then goes on to say he's too high to remember the details. Another witness comes on the stand and flips on the prosecutors and starts helping Young Thug. Not because she liked Young Thug, it's because someone on the prosecutor's team kept asking her out on dates and she thought it was weird. She felt harassed, wanted to stay home, but they forced her to be there. So the judge said, stop, we're putting a cap on the witnesses. So it went from 700 to about 150. So instead of finishing in 2027, the trial is gonna finish in like 2026. So Young Thug's lawyers basically call for a mistrial, meaning everything needs to stop. The trial has taken too long, the jurors are checked out, which is the most important part. That's why trials can't be so long. Imagine you're sitting there for 2 years hearing people go over and over, talk over. You're gonna check out. The judge says, no, we're gonna keep going. But the trial has been lasting for so long that the judge starts getting mad at everybody as well. They all hate each other at this point, so they're just arguing in the courtroom. So Young Thug's lawyer says again, stop the trial. You basically called me an idiot 1,000,000 times in front of the jury. This is not fair to us. The judge says, no, we're gonna keep going. But everything explodes when Woody takes the stand. Remember, Woody's the one who started this whole thing. So he was the prosecution's star witness against Young Thug. The prosecution was hyped. They said, Thug, you going to jail. Woody, tell them what you was telling us. Woody said, did he hear me? Woody, he said. Woody becomes completely uncooperative. Listen to what he says to their first question.
How old are you?
Grown.
Okay, what does grown mean?
I'm an adult.
The prosecutors go, oh snap, hold on, we need to talk to him. So the courts take a break, Woody comes back, he starts talking. And here's where things start to get wicked. See, here's the thing. Prosecutors already gave Woody basically immunity for whatever he says, so he can say whatever he wants. The deal goes, you told us that Young Thug is a bad guy. We let you go free. Now just repeat what you said in front of everyone. Now, listen closely. He decides not to say anything at first. The judge tells him you have to say stuff. That does not mean you have to say what you said to them earlier. You just have to say something. So he decides to start being a menace, dragging out questions, just being uncooperative. Remember, they then leave. They come back and he starts being a little more cooperative. So Young Thug's lawyers were like, why is he being a little more cooperative? Come to find out that Woody was taken to the back with the judge and the prosecutor and basically told, if you don't start talking right now, you finna go to jail. Now, this is just something the courts cannot do. You have the right to a fair trial, meaning, listen closely, there cannot be any secret meetings. In fact, everything has to be known by everyone. All the charges, all the witnesses, nothing can be a secret between the judge, prosecutors, and the defendants. This meeting was clearly a secret. So Young Thug's lawyers confront the judge about it. The judge goes, how did you know? Young Thug's lawyers go, it doesn't matter how I knew. Did it happen? The judge says, who told you? He says, it doesn't matter who told me. Why did it happen? The judge goes, he actually starts shaking up. You're going to jail. The lawyer goes, what? what? Judge goes, arrest that man. Young Thug's lawyer said, you know you don't want to do that. The judge said, yeah, I do. So Young Thug's lawyer goes to jail. The Georgia Supreme Court immediately says, no. Everybody goes, that's it? The Supreme Court goes, yes. Go back. So Young Thug's lawyer comes back. The judge goes, why are you here? Young Thug's lawyer goes, you need to leave. The judge goes, Young Thug's lawyer goes, huh? He says, all right, we'll leave the decision up to another judge. Other judge, do you think I need to be dismissed from the trial? She goes, yes. He goes, you don't want to think about it for a second? She goes, I don't. He goes, switching sides. All right, I'm going to just go. He leaves. They get a new judge. And Young Thug's lawyer goes, because in all regards, this case is over. Because no matter what the courts decide, Young Thug's lawyer is just going to say the trial wasn't fair. And well, it wasn't. On top of that, the prosecution and the judge look very corrupt. So the jury is probably gonna let Young Thug go. They don't know what's true and what's lies. How can I put a man in jail for life if I don't know how much times I've been lied to? If the jury decides, screw that, he's guilty, then Young Thug's lawyer just goes to an appeals court and says, you saw what happened. The Supreme Court's gonna say, yeah, okay, mistrial. But if prosecutors try to counter that by saying, well, we're gonna get Young Thug on this other charge or this other charge, then Young Thug's lawyer would counter that and say, maybe you were making this trial so bad that you wanted me to do a mistrial so you can start the trial over since you were already losing, and then it all gets so weird. The Supreme Court doesn't want to deal with that. So they're just gonna say, you lost, Georgia. Young Thug's free to go. Maybe. I'm not a lawyer.